The engine dies. I can still hear the power buzzing up before it surges down, leaving us with the ambience of the settling motorhome. We're here.
Not a lot of cars here, huh?
Guess the rest of the world just hasn't caught up yet. That won't last for long. Any day now, people will figure out it's here, and an army of would-be treasure hunters will be swarming this place, drilling at the chance to find gold. The last of the gold. There's a fluttering in my chest, and I tighten my grip on the wheel. It's the end of our adventure.
Better names have spread across the land and struck fear into the hearts of our rivals, giving them no other choice but to call it quits.
Yeah, or maybe someone already came through and found the treasure.
What? Don't say something scary like that.
Still wrapped around the wheel, my clammy hands start shaking. Marina takes notice, looking over with sympathetic eyes.
Hey,
She takes her hand and gently places it on top of mine, giving it a reassuring squeeze. I let both fall into my lap. She's warm.
doing this together, okay?
The flutters tickle the inside of my chest until I can't help smiling. Alright, right, let's do it. Regretfully, I force out a nod and pull my hand out from Marina's. It feels wrong, like throwing away a precious gift. Reaching into the console, I retrieve my journal, for what may be the last time. It's well loved, a spent spine, wrinkled pages, and folded corners on the flimsy paper cover. Looking back, it's been getting roughed up since the moment we got it, ever since that weird station attendant let Marina have it for free way back at the Traveler's store. Hard to believe this cheap thing was the roadmap to something so valuable. Taking a deep breath, I skim over the final entry.
After several days of travel, I finally arrived at my first destination. Blah, 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 blah. I think we already read this.
Yeah, we already did this.
Crimson... Windstone Arch.
Windstone
Arch.
It's probably the vaguest entry so far, but I can feel it. It has to be there. I slap the journal shut and lay it to rest on the center console, right next to all the cassette tapes. Marina and I look at each other, now showing the same piercing determination. Alright, let's get this show on the road. Because of the lack of crowds, getting around is a lot easier than usual, allowing us to take the scenery for once instead of just slogging through zombified hordes. Even if there's not many people around, it somehow feels fuller here. Everywhere we walk, we're surrounded by layered dunes and sandstones, towering us over us, draped with faded reds and calico browns. Somehow, we do eventually manage to find the Windstone Arch. Unlike the arches back in Utah, it isn't big and majestic. It's not an giant upside-down horseshoe that lords over us as we look in awe. It's not even an arch as much as it is a cave, really. Just a jagged, overgrown rock with a few crevices big enough for a person to enter. Still, despite this, and despite the fact that it doesn't compare to the size or grandeur of everything else we've seen together so far, and despite that it hardly took any time for us to find it, it's still imposing. The longer I stare at it, the bigger it gets, like it's judging us. It isn't calling into question our abilities or even if we can find it. It's gauging us to see if we're ready. Are we? I look over to Marina. A small bulge forms in her throat before she swallows it back down. Is she? I return my gaze to the arch, asking the same question over and over in my head. Am I? Finally, we look to each other. Marina readies the metal detector strapped to her back and gives me a nod, which I return. Even if we aren't ready, even if this is the worst mistake of my life, this is something both of us have to do. Our steps in sync, we march over to the rocks and desert shrubs before crouching into the cavern. Sunlight squeezes into the cave, dyeing the rock columns neon red. Marina begins scanning with the metal detector, listening intently for a beep. The narrow space forces us to huddle together as we weave our way through the arch, briefly brushing against each other. At first, it's accidental, but I find myself craving it more. To get closer, to feel her, to watch as her hair absorbs the brilliant glow of the cave. I'm deprived of all of that, though, as her metal detector vibrates in her hand, making a low rumble. She takes off the headphones and points to the wall.
There!
I avert my gaze and move past her, taking a knee as I slip off the bag off my shoulder and pull out a mandrel pickaxe. Careful not to hit her, I start chiseling away at the rock. Soon, the crack in the wall grows and small pebbles and gravel start flying off. I reposition myself and block Marina from getting hit by any of it. The small portion of the wall crumbles away and after a few more strikes, reveals a hollow space just big enough to squeeze your hand into. So it's gonna suck if some creepy thing's gone and made its home in there. Shuddering, I reach into the space and I feel something square and wooden. With some budging, it comes free and easily slides out. A box. Holy shit, are we already here? Its familiarity is expected, but it doesn't stop my heart from leaping any less. Nor Marina's. He squeaks out a gasp. Ready? This time she barely nods, unsure of what to say, but like ripping off a bandage, I swing the lid open before she can give any real answer. Nuggets, a pile of them, filled from top to bottom, all misshapen and morphed. The sign isn't anything new, but this time it feels different. It's like, for the first time, the reality has finally sunk in and everything up until now has been a haze. We both just stare at it. An entire universe of thoughts race into my mind, yet it all comes up blank. What now? It's directed more towards myself than Marina, but it's the first thing to manage to spill out, and ultimately the most important. Marina doesn't answer at first, instead just tilting her head, trying to process the question, but finally she gives a simple smile.
It's time for a trail on the way over here. Can we go hiking?
Hiking? I freeze for a second, then laugh under my breath. The more I think about the simplicity behind her words, the more I laugh, until I border on something like a hysterical madman. Hiking? For real? I keep laughing, struggling to keep it together, even if I start having trouble breathing. Poor Marina isn't on the joke, though, and within a matter of seconds her face goes from confusion to concern, then pouting.
I don't know why you're laughing. I was being serious, you know.
Settling down, I wipe a fake tear from my eye, an occasional chuckle still manages to break through. No, I know you were.
And what's so funny?
Nothing, just... I finally regain composure and smile at her. Yeah, sure, let's go hiking. That sounds nice. Can you please keep to the signs?
Will, stop being such a worrywart.
Marina skips through the sand, gleefully oblivious that her trail is a badly marked patch of dirt over the plains of Mojave. That's what you said last time. If you're not careful, we're gonna get lost again.
Aw, you didn't like those old cabins we found?
It gets old after the second time, Mare. It kills daylight, too. The sun has faded to orange and will soon sink out of view. There's no way we're getting back before dark. But hey, maybe that's not such a bad thing. We've already found the treasure, so spending some time with Marina is a nice reward.
So, about this fire wave thing. Yes, I know it's not an ocean of lava, smarty pants.
Damn, I must be running out of material.
I mean, it's so cool. Well, hot, I guess, but what is it?
What's the fire wave? It's a windy thing. The wind's around the rocks and stuff, and it looks like fire. At least I think that's what it was.
Oh?
A devilish grin sinks onto Marina's face, and she attaches herself to me like Velcro, nudging my shoulders.
You don't know what it is either, do you?
What? Do so? Her grin grows until I force myself to look away. She's not gonna get the satisfaction. I've seen pictures. I've seen footage.
Ooh! You've seen pictures? What sort of pictures?
You know, the picture-y kind. I can just feel her reveling in this. For the first time, she's gotten me playing right into her hands. Oh, shut up. I feel a slap against my wrist, then a tug. Looking down, I see Marina's bright dimples shining through her round cheeks.
Don't we find out together?
I'm stunned. It's a position we've been in before, but it's supposed to be the other way around. I'm always pulling her, that's my job. But now it's her smooth fingers locked around my wrist, her fingernails grazing above my skin. The realization doesn't even have time to sink in before she propels herself forward, with me in tow. Hey, wait, hold on. I kick up sand and grit as I'm practically dragged along by Maria, who meets my yelp with silence. Then she halts as quickly as she took off, leaving me to shoot forward and stumble to a stop. You could have at least warned me before you... Oh. I go silent. Marina does too. The fire wave. Swirling ribbons of red wrap along the hillside and stretch out of the high horizon. The setting sun casts light and shadow across the ground and sky, shading it all with intense golds, pinks, and purples. As the sky dims, a shred of stray light passes over the shade and shines directly on us. Directly on Marina. She stares on, silent. I can feel every glint of emotion coming from her. Every breath taken away. Every raw feeling that builds up inside her, only to be choked back down. All of it. I glance between her and the scene stretched out before us. Pockets of sky with their deep, vivid colors are beautiful, but the choice is easy. I fixate on Marina. Her clear, sweet blue eyes, her cute, round cheeks, her lips as they quiver ever so slightly. Laying a hand on her shoulder, I turn her towards me and softly touch her cheek. Her mouth slips open with a faint gasp, but all it takes is a gentle stroke of her face for that uncertainty to be wiped away. Marina holds my gaze. My eyes relax and I step closer, so I can feel the warmth of her body against mine. Then, I lean in and press my lips to hers. Yes!
Yeah!
So
Yeah!
soft. I keep myself pressed against her, letting my lips move with the natural flow. But she doesn't press back. Afraid, I pull away, but before I can step back, she pulls me closer and lets her lips melt into mine. Let the pattern take control. Our mouths move inside each other, full of tender caution as we ease in. We repeat the process indefinitely, bathed in the light of the sunset. The two of us exchange something.
That's your love!
I eventually pull back, unsure of what to say, and scared of what I could. We turn back to find the last rays of sunset slipping behind the sand. Something brushes against my hand, tickling for a moment before intertwining between my fingers. Her grip is loose, but I wrap my fingers around so that I'm holding her firmly. We watch the last of the light drift into a peaceful evening. Together.
Pretty.
Yeah.
Was probably going in her head like, no, you're pretty!
Yeah.
You're pretty.
Oh god, why? What have I done? Her back is turned to me like mine is to hers. I claw my nails deeper into the scratchy couch fabric and stick my gaze on the floor. Please end me now. It was silent after we did that. Nice silence, a blissful release of silence, but as we walked back, terror started to sink in, and I think she felt it too. I listened to the buzz of the generator, and stare at the patch of artificial light on the wall. Stupid little box is making fun of me, I swear.
So what now?
Funny, that's the same thing I asked when we found the treasure, except she sounds even more hopeless and confused than I did. Bringing my legs to my chest, I bundle my arms around them and put on a nervous smirk. We could always go hiking again. She throws a mock slap at my shoulder, feigning a huffy voice.
Would like that, wouldn't you?
The heavy embarrassment in the air melts away into something a little more comfortable as we both manage to laugh at my perviness. Marina lets out a whiny cry and slides against the couch.
But seriously, what are we gonna do?
About what?
About everything! Treasure, home,
Us?
us.
My heart tightens like she's squeezing it. Did you not?
Oh, I did. Do. Just don't know.
She turns to me, her eyes pleading, like she's looking for answers. There's no doubt I'm responsible for those eyes. Feeling a fierce sense of responsibility, I shoot up and march to the center console.
Amber?
Hold on. Open the console, but don't bother digging around. I know exactly where these are. 2 replaceable pieces of paper. Stopping in front of the couch, my voice darkens. I'll be using my half of the treasure to pay for Gramps' hospital and funeral expenses. But before I do that, I still need to go to the music festival. I offer one of the tickets. Unsure, she gently tugs it from my hand and begins reading. If you want to, you can go with me. Might give you a little extra time to think about things. My voice softened. About everything.
The festival? Me?
Up to you, babe. Festival arc! And also, Babe Unlocked.
Babe Unlocked. They're officially the thing, except they're not the thing, but circumstances notwithstanding, they're the thing.
Yeah. I flop back on the couch and hold the ticket over my eyes to block out the light.
Oh?
Oh crap. She peels the ticket off halfway and peeks through, revealing an amused grin.
So I'm Babe now, huh?
On her hands and knees, Marina crawls ever so closely while I scramble to turn and hide my face. Shut up, it was an accident. And now I'm back to where I started, mortified and embarrassed.
Amber.
Her voice is like a melody. Shut up.
Amber?
I said shut up.
Oh, Amber.
What? A tank engine plows into my back, followed by soft, gentle arms wrapping around my neck as she rests her head against mine.
Thank you.
My shoulders relaxed, embracing her. In turn, I rest my head on hers too, a head sandwich. Sure thing, kiddo.